Alright, so this is how to play Cyanide, part 2. And this part is right after the second chorus, so that's going to go... That's the end of the second chorus. And then immediately after that, this is a really weird part. What Kirk Hammett is using is a Digitech whammy pedal, and he's using it so that it makes your guitar go a whole octave down. So it sounds a lot lower, because you can't play this part on a normal tuned guitar without this. And my whammy pedal is really bad, so this is not going to sound anything like it should, but if you do have one, try it and make it work and set it to an octave lower. And that is power chord with your first finger on the second fret of the D string and third finger on the fourth fret of G, and 2 staccato of those, and then you're going to go. So that's slide up a half step, then back down, and then open D string and G string, and back to that same chord. And one second. Okay, so then after you do this, you're going to do twice on the second fret of the D string, third fret of the G string. So it's twice second fret and twice on the third fret of the G string, and then once again on the second fret of the D string, and then open D string, 6th fret twice, and then open, and it goes straight back to that. So do that twice. And then this next part goes out through most of the rest of the song. So that is a power chord with your first finger. It's a perfect power chord, so that means that you put your ring finger on the 4th fret, ring finger, and you use your ring finger and your pinky, not just your ring finger. So it's a power chord with your first finger on the 2nd fret of the E string. And this is no longer with the whammy pedal. So you just hit that and let it ring. And that's what the first guitarist does, while the second does some weird pattern with the chords involving. And they're sliding up to the 3rd fret of the E string. And they just kind of play some random pattern there while you're just letting this ring. So it sounds more like... And then I'm going to do a trill from the 5th fret of the D string to the 4th fret. And then 4th fret of the A string. And then I'll repeat that. This time trill up to the 6th fret of the G string. So do that whole thing twice. After the second time, you go into this riff that's really cool sounding. And that is 2nd fret of the E string. This is clean. And then 4th fret of the A string, 4th fret of the D string, and then open E string. So that's basically you're just going up the power chord, but then you go back down to the low E string, and then back to the 4th fret of the A string, and then pull off from the 5th fret of the D string to the 4th fret of the D string, and really stress that 5th fret, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then back to the 4th fret of the A string. And this is why, because the other guitarist is doing 2nd fret of the E string. So that's, and then bar the 4th fret of the A string and D string to the open E string. So that's going on while the other guitarist is doing this. Hear that? The second guitarist is doing that, except with the chord. And then when the first guitarist hits the 5th fret, that's why you stress the 5th fret, because the second guitarist goes like this. And use 2 fingers for this bar on the 5th fret of the A and D string, because you're going to want to bend it in vibrato. To just do that over and over again. Make sure that you're in tune with the other guitar, so it sounds really good. And the second guitarist can even do thing like a pull off from the 7th fret to the 5th fret bar on the A and D string, because they have time there. So it's like, so then after that's over, do that twice. And then on the second time, the second guitarist is going to come way up here with the power chord on the 1st finger is on the 7th fret of the B string. So it's a really high power chord. Slide up a half step. So that's sliding up to the 8th fret, and then back down, and then slide down to the 5th fret of the B string, and then slide back up to the 7th. And so you do that a couple times, and then you goes back to this riff. And then once that's over, the second guitarist is going to keep doing this while the first guitarist starts soloing. So I'm not going to tell you what that solo is. It's not that complicated. You're just going up the pentatonic scale of the F sharp pentatonic scale. It's kind of like, so that's the end of the first solo. That second solo, it's not really a second solo, it's still the same solo, but it feels like a different one because the pattern in the background changes from this, it changes to something else, I'm not really sure what. And it's still F sharp pentatonic scale. It's not too hard to figure out. And yeah, and that's the end of the first solo. So in the next video, I'll show you how to do the second solo, which isn't really a solo, and the rest of the song.